Jojo, can you let the cat out? She already wants to leave. Cat. Jojo. Well, this is going well. Let me just climb over all this equipment, cat, to accommodate your needs. We're on our second cat interruption of the day. Oh, now you too? Yeah? Can you not eat that? Jojo! They said they'd sit in the window and be good, but they lied. They're lying cats.
Of course they lied.
Hey guys, I'm Bella, the Maker Mama boss lady behind Fiber and Fox, and this is episode 56 of my podcast, and we're in my new office space. I know we were last episode too, but now it looks like a yarn place, and I'm just so pleased about it. Before we get into that, a little bit about me. I'm a crochet designer. I also knit. I talk about it here with all of you, and everything you need to know about me and anything I may mention is linked down below the video, like, subscribe, etc. All of that. You know the drill. My hair's crazy. It's really hot and humid. And the office has 2 windows, and Jojo was like, do you want me to put an air conditioner in one of them? And I was like, no, because then I won't get a cross freeze if I want to open my windows. But now also it's also really hot. So I kind of regret that decision, but other than that, office is going great. For those of you who might be joining for the first time, welcome. I hope you find something that you like to stick around for. And if you've been following for a bit, we have been renovating some rooms in our house, and I now have a office craft homeschool space thing going on. There is going to be a tour coming up soon. I'm going to do, actually I have quite the lineup of vlogs that I want to get out before the baby is born in 8 or so weeks. So we're in hardcore nesting baby prep. And I'm generally in an organizing kind of mood, but like the nesting definitely brings that out, and like the new office has been super, I don't know, obviously I don't need to have an office in order to have a baby. It's not like getting a nursery ready, but this is our second child and we already have all the baby stuff, so I'm gonna organize my office drawers, and they are real good organized, and it brings me so much joy. So I am going to be doing a vlog soon, a kind of a tour of the new space and how I have everything laid out, because I don't know, I always really enjoy watching people's like yarn room tours. I was gonna do like a time lapse of me like organizing it, but it's been like weeks and days, so it would just be too much footage of me like moving stuff and then moving it again and then taking it back out. So it's just gonna be a final, I mean it's not gonna stay this way forever, but final as it is for now, type tour of the new space. So very excited. Hopefully things look good from here. We got a big ol' IKEA shelving unit from friends of ours who had moved and wanted to downsize their storage, and we were like, oh, we want more storage. So it all worked out, and yeah, I have it kind of cute, kind of very cute. So I can't wait to share that with you. I'm trying to give it a couple more days. I have one more rug coming, and I just want to like finalize-ish it before I make the video. Other upcoming vlogs, I guess this is the admin section. Other upcoming vlogs, I do have a local yarn store vlog that I filmed back in June, but because we had all of the editing equipment and whatnot, my husband's computer, we usually edit the videos just because he has a massive screen and much better computer parts. I work off my laptop, but he does computery stuff for a living, so his is a better setup, so I usually edit off there, but that was all packed up because we were renovating offices and moving around, so I can edit videos again. So this one will have titles and photos and all that good stuff in it. But I can finally put that vlog together because that's been in pieces for a month or so. And then I also want to do some vlogs about natural dyeing as well, because I don't know if you can see, yeah, I'm so bad at the directional pointing, those guys. I have a whole bunch of undyed bare yarn that I talked about last episode that I've ordered, not for the sake of starting a yarn dyeing business, although it's something that's very tempting. I have to like make myself not monetize every single hobby of my life. So yes, unless I decide to like de-stash some. I am not planning on doing a shop or anything like that. at this current point in time, but I do want to do a bunch of dyeing with plants and flowers and stuff that I have. So there's gonna be some vlogs coming up with that. I don't entirely know what I'm talking about, but again, it's fun to watch. So some of those coming. And then I guess this falls into admin as well, but let's see if I can scoot her over here. I hope as I can get it all in frame. Come on over here, Bolin. This is my girl. No, I'm just gonna move her. I'm gonna sit on my lap. This is my girl Bolin. We call her that because she had no head. Yeah, this isn't working out as well as I had hoped. I'm gonna have to work on the setup a little bit. Here, let me see if I can bump the camera back a little bit for you. Going so well. All right, so this is the Dandelion Dispersed Shawl. I'm my girl Bolin here because it is too sweaty to wear mohair at this time. But this is now with my tech editor, has gone through testing. If you follow me over on Instagram, I will be sharing lots of tester photos and whatnot in the coming weeks. Fiber.and.fox on Instagram, all linked below the video. But this is another in my series of patterns that use the dandelion stitch, which is my modified version of daisy or star stitch. It is pretty, and it uses two colors, a fingering weight yarn and a mohair, which is the darker green, or you could sew it on a lace weight or something lighter if you're not a fan of the floof of mohair, but I think it makes a really gorgeous texture. I always do, when I release a pattern, I will do a video covering all the details of the pattern, yardage and tester photos and inspiration and all sorts of good stuff. So you can check out my pattern drop playlist for previous videos on patterns that I've released, at least since I've had a YouTube channel. All of my patterns are linked down below in the stores. But yeah, this is with the tech editor, so I'm hoping to have it out. Let's see, today is July 18th, I think, when I'm filming. I would love to say by the end of the month, but it depends too on my tech editor's schedule. I never quite know when the release date's going to be based on that. So again, follow on Instagram or be subscribed to my newsletter down below, and then you'll get the info that you need when this is released. But yeah, I am a crochet designer, but the pregnancy has been interesting, and actually it really hasn't been interesting, but the first trimester was real rough. Towards the end now, I'm just more in like enjoy my family of three kind of mode, but this may be the only pattern that I release this year, whereas in other years I've done, I don't know, 5 to 10 plus. So I'm trying to not be discouraged by that because I'm designing a human instead. But I'm excited to have this out. So if it's not by the end of July, it will be the beginning of August. And if all goes according to plan, I will not have a baby by then. So we'll see. Again, stay tuned for the newsletter, and thank you for your patience. Me getting stuff done. All right, Bolin, you get up on out here. All right, hopefully we're back at a similar camera angle. And I've realized now that you can probably hear crickets and or frogs outside. But windows are open because it's hot. So I don't have anything finished object-wise to share this time. I guess the pattern coming out would be a finished object, but that's not out yet, so nothing to share. We did just get back from a vacation. I'm not one that shares when or where we're on vacation. I always talk about it afterwards just because the internet be scary, yo. But yeah, we had a beautiful camping family vacation, and it was just really nice to, I don't know, just really savor the moments of just the three of us, my husband, my daughter, and I. And we were camping, but in a RV camper, mobile home, whatever you call it, that someone lent us, and it was just perfect because we had like the air conditioning and we had the fridge and all of the like conveniences, but really beautiful campground facility, and just really enjoyed our time together as a family. So I do have some knit projects that I brought along with me camping. I didn't do any crocheting. I don't know, I think on vacation, I was trying to remember like my previous years of vacation type projects. I tend to lean towards knitting. It's funny because like with the YouTube channel, my job and hobby kind of gets blurred because it's, I mean, technically putting up a video, monetizing it, all of that it's part of my job. It's part of my career, what I do, whatever, maker, mama, boss lady, that whole thing. But to me, when I'm working on the projects, knitting is very much my hobby and crochet is my business. I do love to crochet, but when I want something where I can really like disconnect my designer type brain and just enjoy making, it's usually knitting. I don't really have to explain that to you, but I feel guilty about it sometimes when I don't have enough crochet content, and I'm like, I'm a crochet designer. But I promise, I do crochet, and I do have other designs in mind. I just, didn't want to work on them on vacation because it's vacation. So I brought along 3 knitting projects, but I only actually ended up working on 2 of them. So let me share with you. I don't entirely remember what I showed last time. I think I showed the yarns for these, but I may have had this started. But this is the Cumulus Tee by Petite Knit, who is a very popular designer, and I feel like this is a very popular pattern right now. It's not new or anything, but I feel like a lot of people are making it. For summer, my cord is a little short, so I just want to make sure all my stitches don't jump off here. But this is the Cumulus Tee. It is a fingering weight, pretty loose drapey gauge I'm doing it in like a linen cotton. I have to actually look at the tag. It's a blend of many things. But there's my glasses case that I couldn't find. It's in my knitting bag. So this is some yarn that I had gotten last year, marked down on clearance. I think it's discontinued. I tried to find it to link in the show notes last time, but I think at least this version of the yarn is discontinued. So it's by Lana Grossa. And then it says Colino and Lena Pura on the tag. And then it's color 013, I think. So you can definitely get Lana Grossa, Lena Pura, but it seems like it's all solid colors and not this 3-stranded Marley looking thing. So I don't know if that's the Colino line. I couldn't quite figure it out. But it's made in Italy. It is 15% viscose, 15% polyester, 25% linen, and 45% cotton. And I had grabbed, they're 50 gram skeins. I had grabbed 6 of these in a clearance bin. Like I said that all very weird. A clearance bin. Notorious for saying clearance, and my husband mocks me and says, "Who's Clarence? Why do you love Clarence?" I don't know why I say that. Clearance. A clearance bin at Village Wool on one of their bi-yearly yarn sale things. So yeah, I wasn't quite sold on the color initially. I love yellows. Mustard yellow is my thing, for those of you who have been around any length of time. But I wasn't sure about that teal blue in there. And I wasn't really sure what I was going to make with it. I knew I wanted to do some sort of summer tee or tank, but I couldn't quite envision the yarn as something. It's a very, I already read you the yarn content, but it's like kind of an interestingly, I think it's probably 4-ply, but the plies are all like different widths depending on what the content is. I don't know if you can see, but like the light yellow thread is really thick, or the light yellow ply is really thick, and then the yellow and the teal are much thinner, and the teal like kind of wraps around it. Like in case, I don't know. It's a very strange plying method. It's a little bit splitty sometimes. The teal wants to split a little bit, but once I got in the rhythm, it's working out pretty good. I did gauge, and it's been interesting because I went from I have not enough yarn to, oh no, I'll have plenty of yarn, just kidding, to now I'm back to like yarn chicken, and I'm like, I don't know if we're gonna make this full length. But I did gauge swatch, but my gauge always tends to vary on anything. I gauged as if I was working in the round, which is the body, but then my gauge on the like raglan part always tends to be tighter, and then yeah, so it's, I don't know. I did meet gauge on the swatch, but then the physical sweater I haven't rechecked it again because it's not blocked, but yeah, it's a little off. And this yarn I think is listed as a DK. When I was trying to look it up, it doesn't actually say on here. I think I just assumed it was a fingering weight. It's 50 grams is 135 meters, which would be less than 300 yards per 100 grams. So it's, yeah, like a sport or a DK. I just thought it was fingering weight, and it is a fingering weight pattern. So like, yeah, I messed up my whole gauge. So I got gauge with a smaller needle than recommended in the pattern. It's a little denser of a fabric, I think. Is that what I did? I don't know, I mathed it all out. I should have been making the size either medium or large to fit my bust. And this is a project that it's going to fit me come fall or next summer. I don't think it's going to fit over my bump right now. And if it does, it's probably going to stretch it out and not be great for the tee. But basically I was shooting for the one that was 41-ish or so inches, I think, final measurement, which would give it, I think, 2 to 4 or something positive inches of positive ease. So I did some math and I took my gauge, because I didn't meet gauge. I've been saying I met gauge this whole time. I made my own gauge. I think it was 28 stitches per 4 inches and I was getting like 25, so I did the math. Again, the designer brain, I did this all pre-vacation. Cast it on, got the raglan started. Pro tip, always start your projects before vacation. So you're in the rhythm. So I did all the thinking before I did the math, and I think I ended up making the size small instead of the size large, but now it's coming out closer to 42 inches and it hasn't been blocked yet, so it's probably gonna end up being 43 or something. So I don't know, I have more positive ease than I needed. Probably could have done the extra small with the gauge that I had and maybe done better on the yarn, because I am, last time I measured, I think it's about 19 or 20 inches. And I think I'm supposed to get to 22-ish or so from the top back in the body. And I have this much left of one skein, and then I have one more 50 gram. So this is probably 20 grams or so. And then that. And I need to finish the body, and then there's an I-cord around the bottom, an I-cord around the neck, and then you add a little bit to the sleeves. In the pattern, they're kind of like more down to the elbow. They're not like a short sleeve. It's not quite a 3/4 length, like a half sleeve maybe. So they're like elbow length sleeves. So I did want it shorter than that, but yeah, I'm just gonna have to like split the yarn I have left and figure out the sleeve. But I'm always iffy on how much yarn I-cord takes. I haven't done a ton of I-cords. I do have the tiny bit of yarn from the swatch and then one other bit that was tangled when I wound it. So I probably have 80 or so grams left. So I gotta finish the sleeves, I-cord the bottom, I-cord the neck. And it's just iffy on whether we're gonna make it on the yarn that we have. I can't get more of it, it's discontinued, and I got it on sale and whatever anyway, so don't wanna get more of it. Not something I wanna really hunt down. So we'll see. It may end up being cropped right now. That sounds like a really bad idea, but once I'm back in high-waisted jeans and whatnot, it'll probably be really cute. So we shall see, but it's a really good basic v-neck pattern I talked about last time. The only thing funny in the pattern, at least for me, wasn't wrong or anything, but just the way it was written, the raglan increases, the way she like told you to place markers, but then didn't really tell you what to do regarding the markers. So I ended up watching her tutorial video in Danish. I believe the patterns are originally written in Danish. So she has the tutorials in Danish, but then they're translated into a whole bunch of other languages for the text pattern, but not the video. So I watched the video just to get the visual and then figured it out from there, and it's been smooth sailing ever since. So that is my Cumulus tee. Probably something I would make another one of, but I would make sure I was actually working with fingering weight yarn, or probably would size down to the smallest size of the pattern to accommodate, because I think it's going to be, I don't mind a big baggy t-shirt whatsoever at all. That's kind of my style. But the yarn, it might end up being a little heavy. So stay tuned on that. We shall see. I may not be able to try it on for you, but we'll at least have a finished object soon. And then I guess this is a half finished object. I could have counted it as a finished object because I have one sock out of 2 done. And these are the Sprocket socks by Pip and Pin. Oh, they're so pretty. Look how pretty those are. So these are the Sprocket socks. She's currently running, you have plenty of time to join, the 6 weeks of socks Cal. 6 weeks of socks 2022. I believe her hashtags if you want to join. But she has a whole bunch of different sock patterns, and I think they're all eligible to be part of the Cal. I'm really not doing it for the Cal, but it just seemed like a really good vacation knit project. So the yarns that I'm using, last time I said that one of them was a different dyer and the rest of them were Lana Lotus, but I have come to find out in talking to Jen that they are actually all Lana Lotus mini skeins. Not sure what the colorways are because they were unlabeled minis, either that I got at one of her events or from like a grab bag. but I love them so much. Jen's currently on a break from dyeing, but she's definitely one of my favorite dyers, and she's local, and we've done collabs, and it's always a joy to work with her yarns. So doing 5 mini skeins is how the pattern is written, but you could definitely do it with scraps, or she has it in the pattern that you can follow exactly how she did it, or she has like a recipe in there as well if you want to use different amounts or colors than she did. So thoughts on these. Love the colors. Really happy with the color choices now. I just want to make a whole bunch of scrappy versions in different colors and just play because it's really fun. And strangely, well not strangely, serendipitously, the colors that I picked ended up like perfectly capturing our camping trip. I will put in, because I can edit now, a photo of just sitting fireside at this pine tree filled campground, gravel on the ground, like it's just like color of the camper, just perfect colors to really commemorate. Not that one needs a commemorative vacation sock, but it just really captured our vacation really well. So other thoughts. The pattern is in 3 sizes. I believe it is a 60, a 68, and a 72 or something, 74? Slightly unusual sizes. And I said last time I was excited to work on colorwork socks because colorwork was one of my goals for socks for 2022. And I'd only ever done slip stitch. As it turns out, these are slip stitches as well. Slip stitches as well, so there is no stranding, there is no carrying 2 colors at once. It is all slip stitch detail, which is easier, but doesn't help me check off my actual colorwork boxes. But having done slip stitch socks before, I knew I didn't want to do 60 stitches because that's what I usually do, and my slip stitches were too tight, and the Advent socks I made ended up not fitting me. So I went up to 68, thinking that for some reason the like repeat color work, whatever, would need that amount of stitches, but I definitely could have gone down to 64. And I think it would have been a better fit because these are a little bit big and they're super wash, so they're no stretch. And again, I was thinking stranding would be tighter, but it's slip stitches, which isn't as tight as stranded color work. So 68 is probably too big for me. So I would do 64 next time. But I love how they're working up. I did, I believe, mess up the cuff here. This one, I missed a row. I read the repeat wrong, so that brown should be a little bit longer. And then I did something with the slip stitches, like where this is supposed to be like opposite of that, I think. What's written in the pattern, and I just kept repeating the same thing every time I changed colors instead of alternating when I was slipping and knitting versus knitting and slipping. It's a paid for pattern, so I'm not gonna give you all the info, but basically there was 2 sets of instructions and I only ended up doing 1 and realized like when I was at the heel, I was like, okay, well these are my sprocket socks now, they work. And the heel she has in the pattern, a link to Fish Lips Kiss, which I know doesn't fit me well. I have a very high arch, very wide heels. I always do heel flap and gusset, but that would have looked kind of funny with the, I don't know, with the stripe sequence. It would have broken it up weirdly. She also has instructions in there for a wrap and turn short row heel, which I considered doing, but I wanted to try the shadow wrap heel, which I'm not sure who it's originally by, but I followed a tutorial by, is it Denise? Earth Tones girl. Denise, right? In her No Fear sock knitting YouTube class. So she has a whole series on how to knit socks on YouTube, and it covers everything. And she's a very good teacher and just speaks very slowly and calmly and not like me at all. So I happened to find a tutorial video for her doing the shadow wrap heel. So I followed that and I executed it pretty well. I wanted to try it because people have said that it's a little bit deeper of a heel for a short row heel. So I thought it might fit me better as far as my arch and whatnot, but it does still pulls a little bit over the top of my foot. And again, I think the slip stitches may contribute to that as well. But it does go on my foot, whereas the Fish Lips Kiss, like, it just doesn't work. I executed it pretty well. You're not supposed to have any holes or gapping this side. I definitely have to do some patching up. But yeah, I was pretty proud that I figured it out on vacation because it was a little more thinking than I wanted to do, but yeah, I did it. So I'm going to do it again on the other sock. Probably going to have to watch the tutorial again because I don't remember what I did, but I did it. And yeah, made the sprocket socks. So they're a little too big, heel's a little funny, but they're really beautiful and they're going to look really cute in my Birkenstocks. So that one's finished, and then I've cast on a cuff of the second one. Sorry, I keep checking my camera because it's prone to overheating and it's threatening me. So we're going to wrap up this sock part and then we'll do a cut. But yeah, those were good, enjoyable vacation knits, and I have one more project that I had intended to do on vacation but didn't actually do anything with, just brought it with me. So I brought everything with me and I had every intention of working on it, but I realized that it's also by Petite Knit. This is the Friday sweater baby. So the baby version of the Friday sweater. So there is an adult size version, I guess. It's just like a really simple broken rib raglan pullover baby sweater. And I wanted to work on it for my son who's coming in September. But it was on the same needle size as the Cumulus sweater, or the Cumulus T, Cumulus top, Cumulus T. And I have the ones that have interchangeables, and I was already having enough faffle with gauge on that one that I didn't want to guess on gauge for this one. So I was just going to use the same needle size, not gauge swatch, just use the same needle size as the other one, and assume things were going to come out similar. But I have these two yarns, very, candy cane-esque. The pattern photos are in like a cream and a red as well, and I had that on hand, and I was like, yeah, that's a good call. So the cream is actually some of the undyed from Nomad yarns, and I shared all the links for these last time. And it is 50% recycled wool, 50% tencel, and this one is a fingering weight, but it's closer to a sport weight because it's 383 yards per 100 grams. So I feel like anything below 400 is kind of more sport weight. The pattern calls for finger weight. I'm not super concerned about the size that it comes out because I know it will fit my son at some point. I'm going to make, I forget what the sizing breakdown in the pattern is, but I'm going to make one that will fit sometime in the winter. It's always a guessing game on babies too. My daughter was 7 pounds-ish, and I'm thinking he's going to be 8 pounds-ish. But yeah, baby sizing is hard to guess, like to get the seasons right, because he's going to want to wear the sweater in the wintertime. And by I mean he's going to want to, I'm going to want him to wear the sweater in the wintertime. So I'm going to try to guess somewhere in that size range. Yeah, and we shall see. And then the red, I didn't mention, the red is left over from my second Fields cardigan, which is one of my patterns. I made it in mustard yellow originally, and then made the second one for myself in Fiber for the People in the colorway Chili. And I forget which base this is on, but it's one of her non-superwash ones. I can't remember if it's just merino. Superwash, superfine merino, and maybe recycled nylon base. But yeah, I have a couple little nuggets of this left over just from alternating skeins, so I was going to do the red stripes. And yeah, once I finish the Cumulus T, I guess I will cast that on, and then the final countdown as far as baby makes. So far we have 2 knitted cardigans. That'll be a knitted sweater. I didn't make them now, but I had a whole stash from when I used to sell at markets. I have a whole stash of baby bear hats that are crocheted, so he has no shortage of baby bear hats. I will probably crochet a cardigan once he is born, but again, I don't want to be guessing on the sizing, so kind of get an idea of what size he is and then bump it from there. When I crochet that, I have a knitted blanket. I have the giant knitted blanket that we finished. It's the 10-year blanket, still has a lot of ends. I haven't touched it since last time. It's too hot to have that much acrylic yarn on my lap, so it's just sitting over in a basket, and I'll work on that when I work on it. The blanket's put together, it's just needs a lot of ends sewn in. And yeah, I don't really have any other super pressing. I would like to do like matching colorwork sweaters or something for my daughter and my son, but I don't have a pattern picked out. Yeah, I don't know, trying to pace myself. I definitely made a ton of like cute little crochet dresses and stuff for my daughter, but like, a lot of them weren't very practical from a newborn standpoint other than for photos, so they got worn like once, or like little silly shoes and headbands and stuff that, you know, my son isn't going to need. So yeah, I'm trying to be a little more practical with my makes and make sure that they actually fit at the right time and that they're going to get somewhere. So I'll probably make a bunch of winter hat type things and all of that once we know how big his head is, because we're big brained people. Want to get actual measurements there. But yeah, if anybody has any other last minute baby make suggestions, and then I do actually have some other babies in my life. One that is coming into the world. Emily, your baby. Gotta make more things for your baby because I love her already. And then we have a friend whose baby just turned 1, and they really like dragons, and I want to make a dragon crocheted, like with the spikes, like go back to my roots where I was doing animal hats and character hats and stuff, and make a really cute dragon scale hat for him for the winter. So I do have a couple baby crochet making projects I need to work on. And yeah, just working in my office and getting the pattern out and getting, I don't know, the chair is not the most, like, it's just a regular, I don't have a desk, it's a kitchen table. I'll show you in the tour, but it's like a kitchen table and a chair kind of set up, which is not the best for working out when pregnant, but I sat here today and I had both the windows open and it was breezy and rainy, and it was just really nice to have a space because I've been working, I mean, I still really like working on the couch, but having an office space where I know everything is and I can put my stuff out on the table and all of that, just, I'm so grateful. I'm so excited, and I'm so excited to use it for homeschooling. My daughter's only in pre-K right now, but I just have so much vision for the potential of this space and what we're going to use it for my family. So I'm excited to share that with you soon. And I think, according to my notes, that's all I have. So stay tuned. After this will probably be the local yarn store vlog, and then maybe another podcast episode, and then the tour. We'll see. I might cram a couple extra videos in. Usually I do every other Friday for the podcast, and then maybe some other content on the alternating Friday, but I may throw some other weekday or something in there too, just to get some more content up, because we're at the point now where I could have a baby whenever, I guess. Yeah, because it's the middle of July and we're about less than 2 months out, so I'm hoping he sticks in there for a little bit longer. My daughter was about a week early, so I'm kind of banking on maybe that as a similar time frame, but babies do what babies gonna do, so we'll see. But if at any point I just disappear off the internet, you can assume I've probably had a baby, and I will share that information and come back on whatever amount of maternity leave. I don't know how I'm gonna podcast with a baby. Because yeah, first time around I didn't have the YouTube channel, so it'll be interesting to see. Interesting adjustment, both for the designing and the YouTube and just content in general. We'll see where I'm at, but I'm excited for the transition to figure it out, and part of the Maker Mama Boss Lady life that I have chosen is mamaing first. So yeah, if I disappear, I apologize, sort of, kind of, but not really, because I love my babies. But thank you. Thank you for being here. Every time you watch a video, every time you like, comment, engagement of any kind, patterns, all of that stuff, like, it really does make a difference for our family. And I'm excited to see where we go from here, where we take Fiber and Fox, where just my personal life mamaing journey goes, and I'm excited to share parts and or all of it with you guys. So thank you for being here. I will see you in episode 57, and stay tuned for a tour of my beautiful yarn space. Thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.